Welcome back to Anning Analytics, where I teach beginner programmers that there's no CS topic too difficult to learn if given enough dedication. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use your computer mic to talk with GPT. The basic steps for how we're going to accomplish this are provided below. This is the second video in my series, Making Gerald. If you haven't checked out my first video about how we initially connected Python and OpenAI, I highly recommend you go check that one out before you start this video. Let's get started. We have to make sure that we have the proper libraries installed so that we're able to execute the code. And I'm going to type pip install speech recognition. Hit enter. I already have this requirement satisfied because I've worked with this library before. For you, it should show that the files are downloading. Great. Now once you have this, you can close your command prompt and go back to your gerald.py file. Up at the top, I'm going to type import speech recognition as SR. We can access this Python library much quicker by using SR rather than just typing out speech recognition every time. This is a quick trick if you want to save time. Now to begin, we have to set up two things, the speech recognizer and our microphone. So we'll begin with the microphone. And then we will create our speech recognizer. After setting up these two variables, what we're now going to do is set a variable running equal to the Boolean true. Now the reason I'm setting this variable is because I'm picturing how I want the program to run later, and what I'm thinking right now is that we're going to have a while loop running through this list of things it needs to get done so that it's constantly listening for any extra audio input that will ultimately be sending to GPT. Next, we're going to create another method called listen microphone. We're not going to pass any extra arguments to our listen microphone method. Now, since all the variables in a method are contained, what I have to do is establish that running is a global variable so that when it's referenced within this method, it understands and keeps track of whether it's true or if it's false. Now I'm going to add our while loop. And when operating with the microphone, I believe it's best practice to work with statements. The with statement will look something like with microphone as source, perform an operation. And then below that, we're going to have try and except statements, which will allow us to combat some errors that might pop up. With microphone as source, we will have the command prompt indicate that it is listening to us. And then we're going to create a variable that stores the raw audio from our microphone into a variable called audio. And then we're going to create a try and except statement because we're going to print out the contents of the audio to our command prompt. Our first variable that we're going to create is a text variable, and it's equal to our audio put through the Google Recognizer, which is a part of the library that we have above, and it'll be stored in that text variable. And then we will print the context of it in the command prompt. If you were to search online for two common errors that pop up, the next part that I include here are going to include how we handle those errors, and it will help smooth out the process if for some reason your microphone isn't able to recognize what you're saying. Alright, so now that we have the listen microphone somewhat ready to go, we don't need to test our getGPT response method anymore. So what I'm going to do is comment this out. We're going to run our listen microphone function. Don't forget to press Ctrl S. After you've returned to the location of your file, spell out the name of your file, hit enter. Hello, can you hear me? Alright, it's listening. Before we continue connecting this audio input to GPT, I want to create a way to stop our program. So I'm going to create an if statement and say if text does not equal to stop. Then I'm going to take the context of the audio and print it out. But if it's equal to stop, it'll break the loop. Now hit Ctrl S and head back to your command prompt. Stop. Look at that. We will run it again. Stop. Let's go. Alright, it works. Now that we know it works, what we're going to do next is get rid of these comments here. We're going to move the GPT response variable up into my listen microphone method. And we're going to place it right here underneath this if statement. Get rid of print text. And then we're going to change the prompt variable to text. So now what it's going to do is say, okay, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to convert what you're saying from just an audio file into actual text. Then, once I get this text, I'm going to ask GPT your question and return to you its response text, and it'll print it out. Make sure to get rid of your prompt input down here. Hit Control S one more time for good measure, and head back to your command prompt. And now we're going to hit enter. What is 2 plus 2? In 20 words or less, how do you make coffee? Stop. Boom. Alright, well, in just 40 lines of code, you are now able to talk to ChatGPT through your microphone in your computer, and it'll give you out a response. So we're about halfway there to creating a full-scale AI chatbot that will listen to you and then talk back to you through your computer. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. It really helps me reach more people and motivates me to bring you more amazing content. Thank you. See you in the next video.